What's up, everyone? CR2 here. Hope you're doing well wherever and whenever you're watching from. Today we have got week 6 for 2025 season 4 of the NASCAR 1987 Qualified Practice Guide, and we are going to be at Auto Club, my favorite oval, full bias, my home track, incredibly fun track almost regardless of car. That even includes next gen IndyCar, and 87s is pretty damn well up there with the best oval car at this track. And again, full bias, 87s is damn near best oval car altogether, in my opinion. So just really quickly through my preferences, I like +2, 12-1. Default is 53-2. For qualifying, I'm dumping all the way that down. Dumping it all the way down. I just it doesn't break loose, in my opinion. And just note, the weather is mostly cloudy. You may get some cloud cover for your qualifying run. Right now the track is 84. If your qualifying session pops up and you get like 82, 81, go up right away. Because even if it's just a couple degrees difference, that can make a difference in your qualifying time, and that's especially for 87s. Track usage at 35% might be higher, might be lower for official sessions. Just keep an eye on that. Another thing with the wind, it is blowing, I'm pretty sure that's west, but assuming we're following this arrow, it's blowing east. So I don't know. But if we're going to follow it blowing west, it says that's along the backstretch, dead along the backstretch. 84, that's probably going to go down a couple degrees. Let's get on out here. As you guys know, usually with qualifying in 87s, just keep it right around 100 miles an hour. Don't throw any heats unnecessarily, because all that's going to do is harm your qualifying lap. My all-time best is a 42.47. I actually did set that just a little bit ago in a little bit of a pre-video practice, trying to find what I can do for qualifying. Let's set that up in case I screw it up. Go for an easy lift, stay along the wall. Back on the gas right around you get to that red Bienvenido sign. I'm sure I didn't say that correctly. And just be careful of trailing up to the wall, but you want to get close to that. Make your run to the line as long as possible. 184 at the line to start the lap. We're going to stay against the wall. Brake at the 2. You got to brake quite a bit or you're going to drift up to the wall. Give it a little bit of throttle. Wait until you see that green track condition light in your view for full throttle. And it's going to be low line for 3 and 4. Again, hard on the brakes. Make sure you don't overdrive it. You can either go to the white line or the first seam above it. Just pretty well follow whatever the car is going to go to. Again, be careful of tracking up to the wall and make your run to the line as short as possible. And that's good for a 42.538. And if you guys want to attack on the low line, we actually want last lap. I've tried to make the low line faster. I cannot. Right next to the wall I felt is the fastest for qualifying here. Check that brake bias, okay. Oh, I certainly feel like I overdrove that a fair bit. You see the time advantage we have, but we're going to lose it right away. Just so much more speed the high line allows you onto the backstretch. Not much concern with the car breaking loose. We actually had a really good turn 3 and 4, so this is pretty much pick your poison as far as qualifying is concerned. But through and how it goes for me, running the wall in 1 and 2 is faster, consistently faster. Somebody might be able to make the low line faster than the high line. Pick your poison, whatever is faster, more comfortable for you. jump out really quickly to check the track temperature. 84, so just watch that cloud cover. It is mostly cloudy weather. I just went straight to schedule on the officials page and went straight to test drive, fix setup, everything. I didn't really tinker with the weather at all. Just track usage is all that I changed up. Let's see, we're gonna go to the first lap. You got about as close as you can get to that wall. Make the run up to the line as long as possible. This is the high line lap. You're going to lift and brake at the 2. You're going to be quite hard on the brakes. And just look at that. Again, as close as you can get to the wall. I really feel like I could have been a hair faster, but just a fast qualifying lap for Auto Club is just about how hard you can send it without hitting that wall. Or overdriving. There's two constants there. And I feel like I could have been on the throttle a little bit sooner here. So left maybe half a tenth on the table. But 42.5 is a very strong run. If you can manage a 42.4, odds are you're starting pole, second, third at worst. So let's go ahead and send this live. A little bit of sun. 84. And note the 42 brake bias is just for qualifying. Long run, odds are it's going to destroy your right rear, and Auto Club, like Michigan, is a track where you want to protect the right rear. So 53.2 is the default. We're going to start at 51.6 and just see how it feels. .65 lap race for Auto Club, Michigan as well. And fuel pretty well easily gets you to lap 50 usually. The draft is really, really good for helping you save fuel. And also for saving tires. And I'll explain that as we run through these laps. And so, much contrast to your qualifying line for the race, I really think the low line is where you'll mostly be. And my preference is just above this first seam right here. Maybe get your lefts on it. Be sure not to straddle it too much, or be sure not to have your tires on it too much. I don't like right next to the white line in turns 1 and 2 because to me it just feels like it gets loose. Get close to that wall. Odds are the field will be the leader will track everybody down to the white line on the front stretch. I like to lift, give it a little brake at the 3 sign. And Auto Club is a really, really good track for 87s in terms of just the best way I can put it is you're guiding the car. And the epitome of speed and keeping speed in 1987s is just you're not forcing the car. If you feel like you're forcing the car, trust me, you're either burning the right front or melting the right rear if you're kind of getting on the throttle a little bit too quickly, too early. Either of those factors. 43.2 for our first practice pace lap. Throughout the whole turn, you want to be going down towards the apex. If you're going really hard into the turns and you feel like you're forcing the car to make that corner center, or you're still running up in the turn, up towards the wall, trust me, you're burning your right front. A little bit of brake, see how I just smoothly make my way down to the first seam, a little bit below it. smoothly back on throttle, and just track up back towards the wall. See how we kind of just stayed dead center, almost right next to that, the second seam that we're crossing over right now. That's just a very, very small bit of right front burn. You may think it isn't, but if you're doing that every lap, come lap 20, you're going to start falling behind. You'll start falling behind people that know how to really care for their tires in this car. Turn 4, be careful of be careful of the car getting loose, especially in the lower line. That's why I also don't choose the white line for turns 3 and 4. Right up next to that first seam is where I like the car to go. See, 43.9. We could probably run it a little bit faster, but right now we're thinking of running potentially 30 laps before a pit stop, 35 even. You could go as long as 40, but just kind of, oh yeah, we're getting a little bit loose there. See that? Turn 4 is very dangerous for the car getting loose, even with a cooler track, and it's just worse with a hotter track temp. A little bit of brake. Just guide the car down. I'll try to point out these little dark boxes in the pavement that, as far as for that low line, that's where I like my car to go if I'm running the low line. Three and 4, I don't really have a good marker. You're just kind of trying to meet and match the arc of that first seam, or darn near whatever line you're running in 3 and 4. Actually go up a click on the brake bias. Now look for these. I'm going to try to point them out with the mouse. These two boxes right here. That's where and that box there. To me, that is a very, very good marker of kind of your corner apex. A really good marker if you're running the low line and next seam up and so on. Just so long as you're matching your arc with those two boxes. We're already starting to get a little bit loose on exit. For turn 4 and turn 2. And so a good way, in my opinion, to fix that is to run up just a little bit higher. You still keep your same braking markers, but you're just running up higher. So you move up to the next seam. See how we meet the second seam, match our corner arc with it, and just slowly track out towards the wall. This is a crazy theory of mine. There's no way to test it really, but you see this shadow up to the wall, right next to the wall. I've been curious, if you were to run it throughout the race, is it a cooler piece of the track? Does it help cool off your right sides? And that's just a theory I've had, and I haven't really extensively tested it. I might dive into that at some point. What lap are we on? This is lap 13. Actually, no, excuse me. Lap 8 of this practice run, I believe. You can see just smooth on throttle. You don't want to mash it. You're waiting until you're almost straight up, until you're almost straight on the steering wheel to get back to full throttle. Now, one thing I really like to do with Auto Club, because draft is fairly significant here and at Michigan, so you kind of get these packs. It's not Daytona or Talladega type of pack racing, but you kind of get these packs of, say, 4 to 8 cars, heck, even up to half the field, depending on just who's in the race. So what I like to do is just hang out at the end of the leading pack. Be the last car in the lead pack, second to last car in the lead pack, and just, you're not being up in that dogfight for the lead, the top three, because if you're trying to stay up there, you're going to race harder. You may think you're not, but just, it's that tiny, tiny little bit you're doing every lap, that little bit of extra heat, that little bit of wear that you're throwing in your tires, just trying to maintain the lead. And so you get a long run, come 20 laps into that run, whoever's hanging out in the back, just taking it easy, use the draft to catch back up. When you're hanging out in the back, you get the line you want, you can run the pace you want. And then 20 laps into that run, you'll just start picking off people falling off, just kind of quickly but efficiently set up and make your passes. And just through all that, that's how I won my first race in the 87s cars here at Auto Club. This is where I got my first 87s win, and this, believe it, go figure, it was this track where 87s really started to click for me. Earlier in that week, just had a struggle bus of a race because I shook the car really loose throughout the run. And I believe Kale was in that race. Kale Spicer, Kale D. Spicer, our good friend, good rival, always fun to race against. And I finished that race a lap back because I wasn't really leaning into what this car wants. Fast forward next race, couple races later, I just decided, all right, let's take it easy. I can feel the car out a little bit because I'm trying to feel the car. Just hung out at the tail end of the leading pack and just picked off guys, and won that race by half a car length, something like that. It was like two hundredths margin of victory. And after that, that's just where I really started to understand how you race 87s, how you find your speed and keep your speed. It is all about just not forcing the car. You're getting a little bit loose. Like just slightly overdriving. And I certainly want to say, you're looking for your lap time fall off to maybe end within 44.5, 44.6. Again, track temperature dependent. And then once you're at the end of that lap time fall off, it's just managing temperatures, finding your pace and sticking with it. A bit loose. So you were shaking out just a little bit faster compared to the previous lap. Perhaps once that lap time fall off ends, you can start migrating up towards the wall. But I heavily advise you guys to just keep the same braking marker, maybe just ever so slightly later. You are carrying more speed off the corner, but I really advise you guys waiting until 15-20 laps into that run. Tracking up towards that wall just a bit. faster. Highline is also usable for turns 3 and 4. I just often don't really migrate up to the wall all that often, and that's not just with 87s, that's about almost any car. You certainly can wait longer, but just realize you have to get the wall there. And so there's a couple examples that I have in races with 87s where I was running the high line, a couple people behind me, high line as well. They would easily pick up 2/10 on me on entry, but I would easily regain that 2/10 on corner exit, plus perhaps an extra 10th or two, just because I'm not stressing the right side tires and really efficiently running through corner center, and you can just get back on throttle sooner, and launch off is really good compared to people who really charge that corner entry. So highline, I really recommend braking at the 3, and just make sure you don't track up towards the wall all that much. Back on the gas, and wait until you're straight on the steering wheel to get back to full throttle. You can see how much time hitting the wall costs you. It's easily half a second you lose. It's really costly. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and tick off perhaps another 20 laps. Let's try to simulate 40 laps running. We'll come in for a green flag, a mock green flag pit stop, 2 right side tires, and we'll see how the car feels. So you guys will see me back here shortly. Alright guys, so we are back, coming to take lap 34 of this run, I believe. We're utilizing the high line a little bit more. Feeling pretty effective to me now. One thing I'm noticing is you still have to be patient on the high line, and I'll show you why. Notice where I was back on throttle, waiting until we were turning down in the banking to get back on throttle. Let me show you what happens when you don't wait. And while it's not catastrophic, it's just one of those little differences that can take you from finishing lower top 10 to competing for the win or podium. So 44.67. We're lifting at the 3. Get most of our braking done before the bulk of the turn in. And you see how I'm just a little bit hesitant to really go back to full throttle. Still gotta wait. And while yes, we're maximizing the exit of the turn, we're not maximizing throttle. I've been above the first seam to above the second seam for 3 and 4. I haven't flirted with the wall very much yet. On throttle too soon, you see that? And brake bias, I've only gone down 2 clicks from default brake bias in the set. Lift at the 3. Get most of our braking done, and you see how we're waiting just that little bit longer. And this is kind of that really fine balance between maximizing throttle and still maximizing corner exit as far as for turn 2. Fuel level. Each gallon gets you, I want to say 2.1, 2.2 laps, so let's just really say 2 laps per gallon to be a safe number. And so at this point we would be coming back to 25 laps left in the race, so let's just say 25 divided by 2, 12.5 gallons, so you really want to be leaving pit road at lap 45 or lap 40 in the run with perhaps at least 12 gallons in the tank. Now, if you're in the draft, you could utilize the draft to help you save some fuel, but just you really want to take out that variable of, oh, I've got to save fuel, and that means you're not going to be on throttle as much. And that means somebody behind you doesn't have to save fuel, and they can just stay on the throttle, charge up in front of you, and then they win. Just hypotheticals here that we're talking about. Too early on throttle, see we're tracking up towards the wall. Gotta wait a little bit. So 7 gallons, let's actually do 8. We'll be coming into pit, not this time around, but next time. Oh, too much. We're going to reset the brake bias to default. Now look towards the left at the infield grass as we approach pit road. There's this spot where the grass does this sharp cut to the left where kind of that section ends. Where that corner is my braking marker for green flag pit stops. Right there. Oh my gosh, okay. We really botched that.
Pit box in 10.
Sure we're set for just right side change, 8
3,
gallons of fuel.
2, 1. Right here.
Didn't have to reconfigure my pedals, so yeah. And 7170, and yep, there you. Damn near even tire wear. That's really what you want.
Move it, move it.
I did have to reconfigure my controls, so. Oh boy. Just be careful of it being loose on exit. Go up a couple clicks just as a precaution. Really good natural rotation. Didn't need any brake whatsoever there. And our final, we'll say a 44.6 without hitting the wall. We'll see what it is coming around this time. We're gonna go for the middle. Be patient on throttle. Not killer loose at all, you just gotta be prepared. Lift, slight brake. Just guide the car, don't force it. And we're easily a second and a half faster on just right side tires. Could have been perhaps a 1.7 faster had I not hit the wall. So assuming your race is going full green by the time pit stops roll around, I would say earliest to pit is maybe 35. The latest I'd wait is 45, because if you give yourself less than 20 green flag laps to run down the leaders or wherever your position was, that's just, sure you've got the tires to do it, but you're running harder. You're killing your natural tire advantage. And also competing with however many laps you have left. So just consider that. That's why I say 25 to go. Pit at lap 40 is a pretty good balance marker. Try to get a proper lap here. still a second faster than old tires. Little loose on exit of turn 4. So just make sure you got an egg under your throttle pedal. 43.8. That's 0.8 faster still. Let's try the high line here. And only lost a tenth, less than a tenth there, so a significant advantage in new tires. Because Auto Club is such a long track, there's even an advantage in new tires for just say a 3-lap shootout to the end. So there's some benefit in saving a set of tires for that scenario. Just it's really tough to guess when that yellow will fall. We're gonna try another practice pit stop here. This way I can show you what it should look like. Brake at the end of the grass. There you go. Could have gone a little bit later, but you just don't want to flirt with a pit speeding penalty. Pass through, and you're just going to be left hoping for a yellow to bail you out. Track temperature 84, so just with mostly cloudy, the clouds are falling over the track in such a way that you'll probably see as cool as 81 degrees and as warm as maybe 87 degrees. I really wouldn't say any warmer than 90 for sure, unless you get a session that's entirely clear skies. You might be seeing 95 perhaps, maybe pushing 100. No, I'd say 95. So, and in the case 97, 97, pretty good on the tire temperatures. Likely could take a little bit better care of the right front. So, just quickly to sum up, take care of your right rear, because once the right rear starts to get angry, you are going to be setting up for a bad time. Especially this, and this is just from my own personal experience. If say you get a yellow and you come in to take more fuel, but no new tires whatsoever, I just be ready for a hell of a time. There was this one race a year ago, I believe, lap 10, I came in, topped off the tank, no new tires, and 5-10 laps into that run, I was loose as hell. And that's just because old tires, full fuel load. Be ready if you're gonna set yourself up for that scenario, or take new tires just to balance that out. Whereas, say you take only fuel, all right, you haven't touched any new sets of tires, you got them for later in the race. So just be prepared for that. I got bailed out by a yellow later in that race, wound up winning, but I was bailed out. That's a race I wasn't going to win if not for that yellow. Don't overdrive your entries. And just, I feel like this one's really important. You may not think so because it's a 2-mile oval, you can get away with it, but just practice this for yourself. Don't overdrive your entries. Let the car rotate. You can get on throttle earlier, and that's what gives you these strong runs off of turns 2 and 4. Hang out at the tail end of the lead pack. You can run the pace you want. You can run the line you want. You're not putting yourself in that dogfight and just naturally running your tires harder. And if you approach it patient, give it 20 laps, 25 laps, you'll just start picking off people as their tires are getting angry, and you'll find yourself in the top 5, maybe even contending for the win. It just takes pace, patience, being smart, all of that. Be ready for a little bit of pack racing, and with this comes just wreck avoidance. Keep an eye on people ahead of you, keep an eye on people behind you. Try to pick up that sense of where a wreck can happen, and just be ready if something happens. And this is where I think it's a little bit safer to hang out in the tail end of the lead pack. You get that whole picture view rather than you're hanging out third, 2 or 3 wide for the lead. Somebody wrecks right next to you, you're caught up in it, your race is done. So just race sense plays a big part here, and same for Michigan because you kind of get this hybrid between Daytona or Talladega and intermediate racing. And of course, have fun. The Auto Club is a really fun track. I expect to have, I expect the series to have plenty of full fields next week because Trucks, Xfinity, and Next Gen, they're all going to be at Martinsville pacing. Who wants to do pacing for 60 laps if you're in the fixed race, if perhaps even longer than that? I don't. You'll find me here plenty next week. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope this is helpful. Please feel free to ask anything in the comments. Heck, even just let me know how your race went. And of course, good luck, and see you guys next time.